do the entire first round. So I'm going to start off, James, or actually, you know what? You start off. You do the odds. I'll do the evens, and let's do the entire first round. Give me your selection, and give me the thought process, if you will, behind it, and we'll plug away. And in the last 40 minutes, we're going to roll out a complete mock draft with analysis, basically, and foresight, and the thought process that goes behind each of these picks.
Well, the first overall pick is the Indianapolis Colts. Right now, there's only two options really on the table, and really, it's really quickly dwindling down to one option. Andrew Luck is going to be the pick here. While the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts is from the Philadelphia Eagles organization, which, sometimes makes me think, they're going to go for the more athletic quarterback. They're going to go after RG3. I think that that's maybe a schematic thing as opposed to a hard-pressed mental view right now. While I'm not going to count RG3 out right now, I think eventually what we're going to see is a pair of teams that or a team that's going to say, all right, which one of these guys is going to sign for less? If in fact that's in fact possible, and I don't even know that based off the salary cap or the rookie salary cap and how it's implemented. I'm not quite sure how that works, but with that said, the first overall pick is going to be Andrew Luck.
All right, interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it probably is Andrew. I'm sitting here at the second pick. I'm the Washington Redskins. I swapped first-round picks, number 2 for my previous number 6, and I also gave up 2 additional first-round picks and a second-round pick. I give up a ginormous price to move up 4 spots, essentially leapfrogging slots 5, 4, 3. So to me, there's only one option here. I mean, I have several needs, but it's a no-brainer. I'm trading up. That kind of value I'm giving up, I'm giving it up for a franchise signal caller. You've taken Andrew Luck. I'm taking the other guy at this point, the Washington, that I believe is a franchise signal caller. I'm going with the Robert Griffin III, quarterback from Baylor. Throws a fantastic deep ball, has unreal athleticism, very accurate, and, the biggest thing is this kid is a leader on and off the field, no issues, very intelligent. Washington has not had a franchise signal caller probably, honestly, in the last 20 years that you could say, hey, this is the future of Washington. So it's time for them to secure that, and I think they do with this pick.
With the third pick on the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings right now have dwindled themselves down to two options. While Justin Blackmon is a real outside shot third option, the really two options are Morris Claiborne from LSU, the cornerback, and the thought process behind that would be that you've got Calvin Johnson in division, you've got Greg Jennings in division, and you've got now Brandon Marshall in division. You're going to need that number 1 corner to shut him down. But that's not where they're going here. They're going to go with Matt Khalil. First of all, left tackles are extremely more rare than starting corners. They could get Robinson in the early second round, and he could be just fine as a starting corner, in my opinion. Or if Gilmore, in fact, drops to the second round, that's a possibility as well. That's something that they can do as a second round. Matt Khalil is probably I have him as a top 3 left tackle prospect in the past 5 years, and I don't even think it's close in that sense. And they need one to really keep Christian Ponder upright. They invested number 13 overall last year in Ponder. They have to keep him upright and continue with his development. So Matt Khalil has to be the pick here at number 3.
All right, and I understand the connection. I understand the foresight there. Cleveland, I'm sitting here at 4. The draft has really unfolded exactly like I thought it would. I don't need a left tackle because I probably have the best left tackle in all of football in Joe Thomas. I could have used one of the quarterbacks, but once Washington traded up, I quickly realized that wasn't going to happen. I did not re-sign Peyton Hillis, who is now off to Kansas City. So for me, this pick is really a no-brainer. People have talked about the devaluing of the running back position and the possibility of me not selecting this guy here. But let me tell you this. When you look at the power, the balance, the ability of Trent Richardson, the only back really in the last 5 to 8 years that it parallels is a guy like Adrian Peterson. And if Trent Richardson turns out to be Adrian Peterson-esque, nobody will ever question this pick. For those reasons, I'm trying to help out a young quarterback getting his last opportunity in Colt McCoy. I need to surround him with some weapons. I'm thinking about taking a Justin Blackmon, but long term, the fact that I don't have a running back currently on the roster that I think is an every down starter, I'm not completely trusting in Montario Hardesty, who I feel like got an opportunity. I'm taking Trent Richardson, the running back from Alabama.
With the fifth pick on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and everything's really going the way I expected it to. With the Peyton Hillis jettisoning, it's easily. I really thought that was going to be the pick as well. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at a few options here, but really it's all going to dwindle down to one, because I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've got Aqib Talib possibly facing jail time. I've got a lot of bad apples in my cornerbacking core. A lot of guys are getting right on the verge of suspension. I need a real smart athlete who is a team player and a great guy off the field to kind of be the leader on the defense, especially with Rondé Barber getting older. So I'm going to go with Morris Claiborne, the cornerback out of LSU.
All right, and that pick makes quite a bit of sense. Understand the pick, especially with the situation surrounding Aqib Talib. I'm number 6. I'm the St. Louis Rams. The draft honestly could not have unfolded any better for me unless Matt Khalil somehow miraculously fell to number 6. But I'm sitting here at number 6. The one thing that I desperately need is weapons for my franchise signal caller, in Sam Bradford, and there's one guy here on the board who fits that build, and that's Justin Blackmon. I've got a lot of number 2s. I drafted a guy in Greg Salas last year. I drafted a guy last year in Titus Young. I drafted, Pettis. Young went to the Detroit Lions, but I drafted a guy in Pettis. I have a lot of number 2s, but I don't have a number 1. Wasn't able to keep Brandon Lloyd there in St. Louis. So I'm going to go ahead and draft who, in many people's minds, is the best wide receiver in this draft class. A guy I've seen what A.J. Green was able to do coming in right away, and I'm hoping Justin Blackmon will be able to do the same thing. I'm taking wide receiver Justin Blackmon from Oklahoma State.
Well, I'm sitting here at number 7 at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I need one of everything. I honestly do. I need one of absolutely everything but a running back. That's the situation I'm looking at for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so no pick is surprising, but I am going to surprise everyone. I'm not going to go Riley Reif, the talented tackle from Iowa. I'm not going to go Quentin Coples, the talented pass rusher out of North Carolina. No, I'm going to go with a guy who many people have as the number 2 defensive end on the chart, and that's going to be Courtney Upshaw, the defensive end out of Alabama. The reasoning behind this is Quentin Coples is too motor hot, and his motor's too hot and cold. And that's something that Gene Smith absolutely hates. On top of that, the character issues are really starting to arise, especially after his combine interview saying that he kind of gave up on North Carolina. And plus, Upshaw is the better pass rusher out of the 2. And let's face it, Aaron Campman cannot stay onto the field for any extending the length of time. Plus, he's also getting old. So we're going to really start on the pass rush, and we're going to select Courtney Upshaw, defensive end from Alabama.
All right, interesting. Well, I'm sitting here now. I'm Miami, and this has definitely caused me to take notice, to reevaluate the situation, if you will, because I do need a quarterback, and I'm strongly considering Ryan Tannehill here as the other 2 quarterbacks are off. off the board, the other two signal callers that are possible first-round picks. I didn't expect Quentin Couples to be here. From North Carolina. Miami, my team is switching back to a 4-3 front. I'm not quite sure if Koemisi fits that, so I'm going to need an edge rusher to pair with the very talented edge rusher that I already have in Cameron Wake. I also could use a right tackle opposite Jake Long. Vernon Carey is not been the right tackle over the last couple of years that I'm really looking for. And if I'm going to bring in a young quarterback, I need to think about that right tackle spot as well. But ultimately, last week I went in a different direction, but this week Miami has been dying to get a signal caller in there. They tried desperately to sign Manning. They tried desperately to sign Alex Smith. They basically threw money at David Garrard to keep him there. They've done everything they can. Fans have literally picketed out front. Call this a gut reaction. Call this a knee-jerk type pick. But I think that they need to bring in a guy that they believe may be a franchise-style quarterback. And for those reasons, I think that Ryan Tannehill will be the pick. I need to bring in a guy that could possibly be a franchise signal caller. I haven't had one of those since Dan Marino. That's an awfully long time. I don't have a wide receiver, so Malcolm Floyd will get consideration here. I mentioned switching back to the 4-3 front, so Quentin Couples will get consideration here. And obviously Riley Reif will get strong consideration here. Because I feel like I could upgrade the offensive line, but I can't pass on a franchise signal caller. So I'm going with Ryan Tannehill, the talented quarterback from Texas A&M.
With the 9th overall pick, I am going to be the Carolina Panthers. And I need a little bit of everything on the defensive side. The offense is able to score at least 21 points a game. I have to get a defense that's going to be able to hold the opposing offense to less than that. And then I can start winning football games. So really it's going to start and end at the defensive side of the football, probably for the entire draft in my opinion. So right now there's tons of talent available. There's a whole bunch of defensive tackles. There's Otari Poe available. There's Fletcher Cox available. But I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go a different way. And this is going to be a little bit of an experiment here. I'm going to go with Quentin Couples, the defensive end out of North Carolina. There's been a lot of talk of him coming in for visits. There's been a lot of talk of keeping a close eye on him in the Senior Bowl. But the real interesting thing that a few others have told me is that he's getting pushed in a lot more. He's getting a lot closer to the tackle. He's not being a more of a wider pass rusher. I'm thinking he might be effective as an under tackle. Maybe Greg Hardy and Charles Johnson on the outside and put Quentin Couples in at under tackle. So I'm going to take a real strange move here and go with Quentin Couples, defensive end out of UNC, for the pick for the Carolina Panthers.
All right, and that's why we do this on the fly. I have no previous knowledge of what James is doing. He has no previous knowledge of what I'm doing. Before the draft, that probably, as I'm sitting here at number 10 on the Buffalo Bills, probably would have angered me, alarmed me, if you will, because I needed edge rushers. Courtney Upshaw is already gone. Quentin Couples just went right in front of me. But I have Mario Williams now, so I don't need to reach at number 10 for the third best rusher in Melvin Ingram when I feel like maybe this guy isn't a top 10 prospect. Instead, I'm going to go in a different direction. Another area that Miami really needs to improve. They invested a lot of money in Stevie Johnson. They've invested a lot of money in Ryan Fitzpatrick. They need to invest some money in protecting this guy. Demetrius Bell, who was a 7th-round pick from 2 years ago, just left via free agency. He's probably was their best offensive lineman. I'm going to help to shore up that offensive line right now. He might play left tackle. He might play right tackle. But the one thing I know for sure as a Buffalo Bills fan, as a Buffalo Bill front office person, I should say, is that Riley Reif, the offensive tackle from Iowa, will be starting from day one.